The digestive system. Whenever you do anything, you need energy, be it to move, to pretend you're a massive rebel in class, or to keep yourself warm. It all needs energy. All organisms need energy. And if you want energy, you're going to need food. Animals and humans amongst them have evolved a well-adapted and clever system of organs to extract every last usable bit of food from what they eat. Our digestive system tries to extract every last nutrient and mineral, like when you try for ages to get the last little bit of toothpaste from the tube. The goal of the digestive system is to turn the food you eat into absorbed nutrients in the blood. For this to happen, your body has to transform the food into an absorbable form, and then actually absorb it. All the organs in the digestive system work to ensure either of those things occur effectively. Firstly, the food enters the mouth. Here it's chewed to break it into smaller pieces. We call this mechanical digestion because it is a physical process rather than some snazzy molecular chemistry. The food also encounters saliva. This is the first place that enzymes are used. Here, amylase is released that starts to break down starch into smaller sugars. Starch is a long, insoluble chain of glucose molecules, and if we are to absorb it into our blood, we need to break it up into smaller pieces to actually be absorbed. Just like if you're trying to fit a newspaper through a letterbox, you'd have to fold it up or rip it up into little pieces to actually get it through. You can see the effect of this amylase by holding a piece of bread in your mouth for longer than is considered either normal or socially acceptable. It should start to taste sweet as the long starch polymers are broken down into smaller sugars. After a trip down the esophagus, the food enters the stomach. The stomach is filled with hydrochloric acid, which can burn you more than I can with my witty remarks. This kills many microbes that might be present. It also makes the environment acidic, funnily enough, so that another enzyme can work effectively, protease. This protease breaks down the long protein strands in your food into amino acids, which can also be absorbed. Remember, each enzyme is like a Premiership footballer. They only operate effectively in very narrow and specific conditions. Otherwise, they don't really work that well at all. The stomach acid provides a low pH to make the protease effective and ensure that the enzyme is not denatured, which is when the shape of the enzyme is changed so it no longer functions effectively. Next we hit the small intestine. This is the workhorse of the digestive system, where most of the digestion and absorption occurs. Each person has around 5 metres of small intestine, and the insides are lined with finger-like structures called villi, which vastly increase the surface area. This means that the food is now ready to be absorbed, and can be absorbed effectively and quickly. Just like you can get more people out of a room if you use 2 or 3 doors instead of just 1. However, the food has just come from the stomach, so it's still acidic. If you ever had heartburn, you can feel the effects that acid have on parts where it shouldn't be. Therefore, your liver makes a chemical called bile and stores it in the gallbladder. Now, it's important to remember that this isn't an enzyme, but is still equally as important at breaking down your food. Firstly, it neutralises that pesky acid. Secondly, it breaks up any fat in the food into smaller droplets, which is now called an emulsion. This means it can be broken down more easily due to the higher surface area. The body employs an enzyme called lipase to actually break down the fat, and this is made in the pancreas and also a little bit in the small intestine. This turns those long fat lipids into fatty acids and glycerol, which can then be absorbed. We also haven't forgotten about that lingering starch and other sugars, which still haven't been broken down from the mouth. The pancreas and small intestine weighed in themselves with their version of amylase, called Pancreatic Amylase. This finishes the job and ensures that every last bit has been broken down and can be absorbed. After the marathon journey through the small intestine, we reach the large intestine. This is the organ which acts a bit like a debt collector. It recovers all the nutrients, minerals and water that your body used or is lingering about. It extracts the water back and starts to make faeces. When the large intestine doesn't do its job, you have the pleasant experience of diarrhoea. Finally, the marvellous faeces is stored in the rectum. It's usually brown because of all the dead bacteria, the bile from earlier, and the proceeds from iron-containing red blood cells that you've got rid of. And then it meets the world again through the anus. It's a complicated pathway designed to get all of the nutrients, so you can do all the things you desire. And even just revise some science or something. Maybe.